So we're going to be talking about budgeting and thinking about expenses for your business. Now, here's the thing. If you're anything like me, this isn't always comfortable, right? Like we don't want to think about our expenses and taxes and things like that because it kind of stresses us out. But what I find is that when you actually get a hold of these things and you think about it and you plan, then it takes some of the stress away. My accountant tells me that most real estate agents, most professionals, they really do not like even thinking about these types of things. So we have to think about these types of things so that we can plan and become a little bit more prepared for what's going to happen. And again, you will be less stressed once you start to get a handle on this. So let's go and share the screens right now and show you some expenses. Now, I want you to understand that this is very basic. This is just a very basic amount. And so when you're looking at this and you're going over this, please understand that I was very conservative, and I really believe that it's probably closer to double or triple what the real expenses are. And everyone's from different states, so just kind of as you're going through this, think about what your state is, where you live, what the costs are, because they're different all over the place. So let's just kind of think about the true cost of doing business. Now, we need to figure out what the true cost of doing business is, so that way we can be prepared for it. So you've got annual expenses, and you've got monthly expenses, and then you've got listing expenses. If you're a listing agent, that can sneak up on you for every single property that you have. And one thing that I always tell everybody is that I believe that when you have a listing, you want to market that listing to your fullest capability. You want to make sure that even if you can't afford to, that you find a way to market it, to use professional videography, professional photography, that you hire a stager if you can, or someone that can come in and really just make the house look the best that it can. And the reason being is because when you market a property, you're not only marketing the property, but you're also marketing yourself. Let me say that one more time. You're marketing yourself. So even if you're in a crazy market where there's no inventory and things are flying off the shelf, what I want you to try to think about is it's better for your seller to spend a little bit more time marketing it and exposing it to the masses, even if it means taking an extra week, so that you can get the best terms, the best price, and the most exposure for them. So you really want to get good at really telling them that. A lot of people will say, well, they're in a hurry and they want to list. And I always say, a week is not going to kill you. A week's only going to help you because of all the back end marketing that you do. So remember that and budget for it. You are going to have operational costs that you're going to have to think about. And when you know these numbers, it's going to really help you kind of get a baseline of what you need to maintain so that you can start actually earning a profit, right? And what you're going to find is that many agents don't think about the operating expenses of their business. And when new agents get into the business, they don't think about things like having an iPad or something to present things on, having a presentable, hopefully, vehicle that you may or may not want to cart people around in. So there's a lot of expenses that we don't talk about here. I'm just going for the very basics. So let's just think about this. As a real estate agent, usually you are splitting a portion of your commission with the other agent, right? If you're a listing agent, or if you're a buyer agent, you're only getting half. Typically it's 50-50 with the buyer broker and the listing broker. And let's kind of take why did I just do that? Look at that here. If you take a sale that's $250,000, okay, $250,000 sale, and you get a 6% commission, that is a $15,000 commission, right? So now we're going to take that commission and we're going to give half of it to the buyer broker. So that's $7,500 to the buyer broker, right? Then let's just say you pay your broker, unless you're a broker your own, you give them, let's say 20% of your commission, that's $1,500. So now out of that total commission that you get paid, if you did give half to the buyer broker, you're going to have $6,000 left. So whether you're a listing agent or a buyer's agent, if you're selling for $250,000, you can assume that you're going to be making probably around $6,000 gross, right? Net, just from that commission without taking any further expenses into consideration. But we also need to think about things like this. We're going to have your initial license and renewal fees. You're going to have your state, your board, your local, your MLS fees, right? And let's just assume, and again, this is going to vary for every state, that these are the costs. So that takes you from a $6,000 commission down to a $4,600 commission. Now let's think about things that we have to consider that we need for our business. We need signs. If you have a listing, you need flyers for every listing, right? You need business cards. You absolutely should be taking photo and video of every home that you're doing professionally, because it is a representation of you and how you market. You always want to remember that you are on a job interview. Everything that you produce, whether it be, the way that you dress, your flyer, your sign, your marketing materials, how you market your property, the way your properties look, how you expose your properties, it's a representation of how you are going to do business. We need to think about having an ad budget. Remember, this is just on each property, because you want to expose your properties to the masses to make sure you're doing the fiduciary duty for your sellers. Now, some people might spend $100, some people might spend $50, some people might spend $1,000. Again, I'm just utilizing normal numbers. We typically spend anywhere from $200 to $400 on every single listing that we have, depending on how quickly it sells. That's just for our ad budget. So now what happens, now that takes our profit down to $3,315 profit now that we have, if we just were to sell one home a year. So now let's just think about things like gas prices and upkeep and car repairs. If we don't even take into consideration upkeep and car repairs, we just take into consideration gas, and I think that $900 is very low, then now we have $2,414, right? It's important to think about this kind of thing. Now let's think about operational costs, like printer paper. These are things like utilities. All this stuff can quickly add up. If you just think about office supplies and utilities, which again, I believe is very low. Now we are at a negative. We're at a negative $1,335 from just selling that one home. And again, we haven't even thought about other marketing things, printing, hiring people to help with videos, hiring people to help with, create marketing brochures, just listed cards, just sold cards, other type of lead generating processes that you might be using, things like RealEvolve or your CRM, and there's so many more things to take into consideration here. I'm just doing bare minimum, so you can get an idea of, we've got to keep these things in mind. So you have to understand that one commission check does not cover everything, right? So I want you to be able to understand and realize, how can I prepare? What can I do? What things can I give up? What things can I start doing to generate more income? What things can I stop doing if I need to have more income? And even if you're a seasoned agent, it's really kind of important to think about this. And knowing in this program, right, we're encouraging you to spend money on a weekly basis on getting yourself exposure, on getting yourself visible, be seen. In order to be known, you need to be seen, you need to be heard. And remember, Facebook's algorithm, what happens? In order for you to break through the algorithm, in order for you to be seen in front of more people, then you need to pay for that exposure on Facebook, on Instagram, on these other various social media platforms. So you need to have a budget for that. And the more you spend, the more quickly you're going to make the impact that you want. And some of you are saying, well, Krista, I don't have the budget. That's okay. Just know that it will take you a little bit longer to break through, and prepare yourself for that mentally about how long it will take. Okay, so you can see that $6,000 commission, not considering what you're gonna have to pay in taxes, right? And adding everything else up, you need to sell 1.22 houses just to be able to cover the really simple costs of running a real estate business. And this does not take into consideration so many more variables if you're going to do it and do a good job. But by knowing this and understanding it and preparing for it and looking at it, it will help you ease your anxiety. I highly recommend taking a percentage of every single closing that you get, putting it away. We do that with my real estate business and my coaching business now. Putting away into a savings account, knowing that you're going to utilize it for taxes, and then also spending a part of your marketing budget. And here's what happens. Some of you right now, you might think you're living paycheck to paycheck and you're not able to afford it. But I'll tell you what, you will find a way. When that money is set aside, you're going to owe it anyways. You'll find a way to make it work. You'll cut things out. You'll start working harder. You will make it work. And then you're going to have less stress and less anxiety later on, which means that you'll be more productive and you'll feel more successful and less stressed, right? And you'll have more energy because you're getting this heavy burden off of you. So what is your homework? I want you to start saving all of your business receipts. We're going to show you later on how you can have a system to kind of track everything, but make sure that you're utilizing, keeping all of your business receipts from personal. Sometimes you might go to Costco and some are business, some are personal. Separate them, making sure that you're doing this once or twice a week. There's a lot of software systems out there that can help you. They even have, you can scan on your phone receipts and you can put them into a folder. There's a lot of things that you can do to get organized. You find your system that works for you and start saving everything. And then start identifying the various tax percentages that you're going to have to pay and what the deadlines are. Highly encourage you to pay your taxes quarterly, right? So it's done, it's out of the way. You don't have any extra interest. And I am not a tax accountant. I am not an attorney. Let me just get that out there. But when you start thinking about this part of your business, number one, you're going to be prepared. You're going to have more energy. You're going to be more productive because it's out of your way, and you will find a way. So again, every state is different. Your expenses are different. The more, he who markets the most wins. Remember that, he who markets the most wins, because they can get there more quickly. And remember, you can always make up and leverage what you lack in ability. When you spend more money marketing yourself and your listings, you have more leverage. So you're more able to beat out your competitors. So I will see you on the next training. Hey there, I have a brand new podcast called Fired Up with Krista Mashore, where I bring my high energy right to your ears. This podcast is available on all your favorite podcast platforms. So do me a favor, go subscribe and leave a review. All this information is free and I cannot wait to teach you everything I know. Thanks so much for watching my video. You can learn more about how to be a successful real estate professional by watching other videos that I have. And be sure to subscribe to my channel. And as always, make it a great home selling and buying day.